Yeah. Keys to life. Sister, keys to life. My mama told me the keys to life. My father told me the keys to life. Now I apply all the keys to life. Turn it up, kid. I hope you got your keys to life. Sitting with the homies, we building on what's the keys to life. Smoking on this pack of sativa, it got me feeling right. Vocals sounding smooth on the Pro Tools, I can't hold you. Know they try to keep you quiet as soon as they know you vocal. Watch what you say when them tellies, fetties be tapping in. Learn, do your dirt by your lonely niggas will wrap you in. Here's a gem, niggas is faking and Jews they flossing in. Find out when you meet them, the photos just be convincing in. Brody asked for 5, you know I'm sending a homie 10. Regardless what we go through, I promise to never mention it. Never let them see where you coming, you gotta switch it up. When you know your worth, you ain't signing, niggas ain't rich enough. Seen niggas screaming no Diddy, but sipping deli on. Came a long way from my younger days, was a petty one. Now I'm on my business and bust their heads on these parlays. Your opinion holds no weight, give a fuck what you gon' say. My mama told me the keys to life. My father told me the keys to life. Now I apply all the keys to life. I hope you got you some keys in life. My mama told me the keys to life. My father told me the keys to life. Now I apply all the keys to life. I hope you got you some keys in life. You can raise them right, but it take a village to make them great. While everybody sleeping, I'm grinding, boy, I be wide awake. When you don't be supporting, ain't trying to hear that you proud of me. When you need something, the only time that you calling me. Ain't no more helping, I really ran out of favors. The weed tastes better, I started rolling the papers. Phone on D&D, leave a message if it's important. And I ain't popping out unless money really to offer. I listen to y'all talking, it's crazy who y'all idolize. Shit, I need 100%, that's why I monetize. I can see a lot of me when I look in my daughter's eyes. I'll burn the world down for making my little son cry. I'm the same P, but grown, that's the better version. Not perfect what I'm doing, no, it's still working. You can't fit up in these shoes, these is mine, nigga. Without trying, boy, I still outshine, niggas. My mama told me the keys of life. My father told me the keys to life. Now I apply all the keys to life. I hope you got you some keys in life. My mama told me the keys to life. My father told me the keys to life. Now I apply all the keys to life.
Copyright disclaimer.
I hope you got
Under
you some keys
Section
in life.
107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips in the balance of the favor of fair use. Fear told you that you didn't have the right to ask, so you didn't. You have already decided that you had no right to ask because you were afraid that some people will be upset with you. As that argument rages inside of your mind between the rational adult that you are, the one that was wounded, sometimes in some cases an abused child that you may have been, the child that remembers times when you asked for something that you needed or wanted, the child that remembered names of people that called you things and told you things about yourself. Nah, you didn't want to ask because you felt that you didn't have the right to ask. You couldn't speak. You were struggling, or you are struggling to stifle the scream that has formed in your throat. And you suffered through so many indignities rather than to ask for what you needed or wanted out of fear that if you got another person upset, it could hurt you. This is a pattern that you've learned as a child. And it is that very ingredient that makes up your pathology. Pathology is the study of the causes of disease. In human life, pathology is the disease, the stuff going on beneath the surface, handed down or passed on to you, the family stuff that you can see and feel, even though no one ever talks about it, from being just a human. It's the why so and so does and such and when so and so is or is not around. It's the why no one talks to so and so or talks about them as soon as they leave the room. We all, in our own way, live out our attempt to avoid living out of the pathologies of our lineage, the pathologies of shame, of dirty family secrets, the secret desires, the secret behaviors, the secret liaisons, and the unconscious motivations. We all have patterns of thought, belief, and behavior that we inherit from our family of origin. We have certain mental, emotional, even spiritual makeup. We call them habits, and habits are hard to break, and despite our own efforts, we still remain loyal to our family patterns, even when they are dysfunctional. And somewhere inside of you, you know that something just ain't right. But when you was a child, you don't know how to change. You don't know how to not be like the people who fed you, who clothed you, who sheltered you. So you wait, growing more and more like them every day. And you wait until you're old enough to either move away or run away or hide or even deny that you have anything at all to do with those people. But sooner or later, you realize that whether you are a block away, a state away, or on the other side of the world, baby, you can't deny what is woven into your being. And somehow you will discover that you do what they did, or what they do, or say what they say, or said, or like anything that they do. And you might find that you act like the one person on earth that you would not want to act like. You see, the family sets up the pathology and the patterns that you are called to heal in your lifetime. You become aware that there are puzzle pieces that you inherited from your parents that's inside of your emotional DNA. You know, when that rewind of the tape that keeps being played in your mind, showing you the enemy that's inside of you. The harder you try to overcome your internal demons, the harder they fought back. But I'm here to tell you that your saving grace is the divine. Your only way out is through spirit. And even though you tapped into that knowledge and that wisdom, and you said the prayers and you meditated, and you knew that they could and would save you, it was or still is your deep and abiding desire to know and to serve the divine that enables you to bypass the beliefs of guilt and unworthiness and to listen within for the inspiration. You know that. But instead, you still have battled thoughts. Your soul has become weary. Your heart is still shattered. You don't understand that the divine could use you no matter how flawed of a vessel that you are. The divine could still use you. You have learned to make the best of what you had and not dare to dream about having more. And you also learn how to avoid, ignore, and dismiss the truth. You have learned, and we all have, that we get exactly what we need when we need it. And in order to learn what the divine intends for us to know, so we can be who the divine intends for us to be. You know this already. There is a standard that you have in your mind for being loved that was not met. It is one thing to get beat down. It's another thing when your beat down is known to somebody else, someone that you love, and someone you think cares about you. When someone you care about watches your beat down and doesn't help you, it feels like a betrayal. And the memory of that stays with you. I've told you many times that there's two emotions, fear and love. Everything else in all of those descriptions are just adjectives of fear and love. Fear can be so debilitating, and it can make you feel paralyzed in a way that prevents forward movement. You don't want to ask because you don't want nobody to be upset with you. So you rather just sit in that and manifest that feeling in every part of you. You fear moving on from a relationship because experiencing a new relationship feels that you're going to fail in that too. Or even traveling to go to a new place, confronting manners and starting a new job or starting over period or being successful. Fear is everywhere that we turn, and oftentimes it's going to be perpetuated by the pain, the trauma, and the disappointment that we have experienced. And acknowledging the fear does not make you weak, but it's something that has to be laid to rest if you are to have any type of progress in your life, in any area. Fear is so deeply felt that it controls all other feelings. It can stop you in your tracks, even when you know it's safe for you to move forward. Beloved, there is so much in life for you to do, for you to become, for you to experience and see, but fear threatens all the progress that you have made in your life. There's nothing wrong to deal with some of the experience that you have in therapy or in rehabilitation, in some emotional space to work through. Ain't nothing wrong with that. The strength comes in recognizing that you need to do that. And when you decide it's time to start the healing process in situations that often plague you, you yourself become the attacker of that fear. And as you heal and you understand yourself better, fear is not as intimidating. And it loses its stronghold and choking you off. It loses that grip on your mind. There are so many different areas in your life that could be overwhelming. But overcoming that fear simply means that you're ready to move through it and there's no other way to conquer it. You can't get around it. You can't jump over it. You can't go under it. You got to go through it. When even our own children are learning something new, they learn how to combat their fear. Just like when you put them in swimming lessons or showing them something that they may be scared of. And then when they finally conquer that fear, you are so proud because they did that. And that's the same way that the divine looks at you. You can visualize your situation and know that you feel in on the inside that there's no way for you to get over that fear. And the only way to get through it and get over it is to jump in. No matter what we say to a child, they don't understand that conquering their fear until they press past it too. In that moment, the child trusts you, and then they realize that there's nothing to fear. And it helps them, it helps your kids to have confidence in themselves going forward, even if what they encounter is something new. So the same shit will go for you. You might want to get back in that classroom. You feel me? And not bypass this lesson about fear. The fear of failing or thinking that you might not be able to do it. And the only way to get around that fear is to go through it. Again, I'm telling you, go through it. Take your shadow from the back seat that you put him in the back seat of the car. Excuse me, because you didn't want to hear what they had to say. I know I put my shadow in the back seat because I didn't want to hear what it had to say. But the shadow was right and telling me what to do, telling me to go in on the fear, to confront the fear so I can get past it. Because I want to be my own petty Betty self and I figure I know better. I decided, I told her, the shadow, to get back in the back seat, get out of the front seat, get in the back. I'm not ready for that yet. Problem is, we got to get back into the classroom and learn how to navigate and get through things and new conversations so we can make better grades with the confidence in knowing that we can get through it. I got to believe in myself, just like you got to believe in yourself. That the only way to slay this fear, to slay this dragon, is to go through it. Listen, there are some areas in our life where fear resides in us and it's harder to face and to overcome. But it's not impossible. You have to believe in yourself. And it's understandable that like I said, where the fear resides, it's harder to face and to overcome. But it's not impossible. Remember, you owe it to yourself to have the life that you want. And don't let fear stop you from living your best in all areas of your life. And those spaces that require healing may take a little longer. But even the fears you may think are beyond your reach can be eliminated. And when you are ready, you can start the process of living without fear. You will find that in that space, you are more confident, your peace will be greater, and you experience more success. Failure is a part of life. We are not going to be good at everything, but failure can give us the opportunity to learn and improve. And don't let fear or anything else get between you and the life that you deserve. There comes a point where we stop sitting in that fear, that we don't want to open up our mouth and ask for what we need. In Isaiah 41:10, it says that, fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. The word says it, whether you believe it or not. Let's dig a little deeper in that. You see, no one knows the day or the hour when it's time to take the leap of faith and jump into whatever you have been thinking about doing heavily. Usually you'll know when it's time to take a leap of faith, when you move beyond mental thoughts of taking that leap and you begin being affected physically, stopping yourself. Whether it's you losing sleep, you get some headaches, your stomach hurts, aches and pains, all because of the resistance that you have against the divine. Won't the divine do it? Sometimes you got to pay attention to the universe because it's trying to tell you something. You can't live in that box of fear, baby. And if you activate your faith, you'll know that once you take that leap of faith, opportunities are going to begin to flow into your life. Instead of pondering when to quit doing something that you don't want to do, to move on to something better, when the atmosphere in your present circumstance begins to shift, or when you become more stressed, you're going to end up tolerating less. And you're going to start thinking about more and more about the day when you want to walk out the doors of your old life into space that you can thrive in, into something new. Even if it means leaving money on the table. It wasn't making you happy anyway. You were consumed so much, and it ate up so much of your life and your time. Even if you left that bag on the table, because everything sounds so cliche. When one door closes, another one opens. But you can't live in fear. You can't live in fear. You have to start to take a leap of faith and start something new. Whatever that leap of faith is, just do it. You'll never know the plan until you get all up in there, and then it starts unveiling itself. There's never going to be a perfect exit. And sometimes you have to just take the leap of faith and jump. Genesis 12:1 says that God directed Abraham to leave leave his kindred, and dwell in the tents for the rest of his life. Abraham started out with his father and his nephew Lot and got as far as Haran. Only when his father died did Abraham move on to the promised land with Lot. At long last, he had come to the place of God's appointment. Just like Abraham, that very great man of the divine. The divine took him to a place where he had to take a leap of faith and believe behind everything that was familiar to him. And then he made it to the divine's designed appointment for his life, entering into the promised land. This is not a storybook tale. This is your story, chapter and verse, of which you are the co-creator and the writer of your story. The divine wants to lead you and to have you to stop worrying about stuff that doesn't matter to him. The divine could care less about your high-paying job and about your benefits. The divine don't care about who's going to talk about you. But what the divine will do, the divine will elevate you in the face of your enemies. The divine will provide for your every need once you step out and take that leap of faith. I want you to understand something on today. That, excuse me. I want you to understand something. That just because you're afraid to ask, because you don't want to deal with the wrath of somebody else because fear told you, you got to get past that and know that that ain't it. That ain't it. You can apply something different. You can apply something different. All right? All right. I'm done. We done here today. All right? So I want you to be well, stay safe, stay safe, stay safe. And I shall see you all very, very soon. All right.
You keep missing what God really wants to do for you. Because so many people have let you down. You've adopted an "I got me" spirit. So you've been hurt by so many people, let down by so many people, that now instead of waiting on God, you adopted a mindset, "I'll get me out of this." You know what? I ain't worried about y'all. I got me. And what God is saying, when you praise me today, you're gonna take a back seat. And God is like, half the hell you went through this year, you never would have had to go through. Praying that the Lord protect my brother that's locked in. Praying that my son always think that I'm Clark Kent. Praying that you keep me on the path that you got me on. I know it's been a long one and I've been riding all alone. Protect me from the people that you see wanna do me harm. On them late nights I was tipsy, you guided me home. Really can't complain cause I love who you made me to be. May not be perfect in their eyes, but I'm perfect for me. Yeah, I be feeling like the one and I'm never the two. Anytime we talk, I get a deeper connection to you. You know it's like you only hear from me when I'm mad or I'm sad. But I'm working on myself to get better with that. You the answer anytime that I'm feeling too stressed. I just handle what I handle and leave you the rest. And I look up above and I pray for the best. Cause I know these prayers ain't easy like sending a text. For real.
When you feel like you can't take no more, you stop talking. You get to a point where you don't want to talk to nobody. You don't want to be around nobody. Why, PMJ? Because the devil has figured out, I can't stop you, but I can cause you to silence you.
I'm just changing how I love and I deal with these people. Seems like when you show love, they start treating you evil. When you let them go is when you start to see elevation. And I prefer to run out of patience than be impatient. Cause stress kills. If you're on my team for real, let's build. If the common denominator's peace, let's chill. I wanna focus on these pesos and book a trip out to Cabo. Pull up to the light, push a button and let the top go. I ain't never needed glasses. I know that my vision clear. I see the greatest of them all. When I look in the mirror, and it doesn't mean you weak if you catching yourself tear up. Sometimes you gotta fight for what you need, you gotta gear up. Just know your blessings is coming, just gotta stay prayed up. All advice ain't good advice if niggas hate us. Loyalty means nothing if they really a traitor. What's done in the dark come out soon as it light up.
Every parent knows that if your child say mom, you gonna say what? What? Dad? What? Mama? What? Because the tone determines the urgency. I ain't never drove 30 minutes in 3 minutes because the tone of his voice said, stop what you're doing, Dad, I need you. That's why don't put no circle around me. Don't look at me up and down. I can be a gangster and a worshiper at the same time. What I'm in right now, I need God to show up. I wish I had somebody who would forget about your role and give God an urgency praise.